This episode is gonna be January and midway through February. 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 Yes, that's the one. Anyway, from that point in time, just because I've missed my intended upload schedule like a week now, for a week now, so yeah, let's just get straight into it. I went about 25 out of the 31 days having done at least two of my core interests, right? And apart from coding, I've never actually stopped doing one of those things in those days. What am I talking? Okay, consulting the script, I never stopped doing one of those core interests for more than 2 days, right? So pretty consistent overall. Yeah, no, my original goal was to hit the ground running as soon as I get back home from the Philippines, and that is mostly what happened. Let's talk about meditation first. Okay, so for mindfulness meditation, I've done about 18 out of 31 days of 10-minute meditation sessions. I haven't really made the effort to go past that yet, mainly because I just want to solidify the habit a bit more before doing that. And I think that'll be the goal for next month, is to just go maybe 80% before going into 15-minute meditation sessions. But the biggest thing for me was that even though I was just meditating for a very short amount of time for those 18 days, I've began to like, you know how I feel a bit better, if that makes any sense. Like, I'm able to catch myself if I'm particularly feeling like angry or a little bit extra sad one particular day, and just say nah. And it's been pretty liberating. So yeah, I'm gonna try to just keep meditating some more. Mm-hmm. 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 When it comes to exercise, which is the next thing I want to talk about, it's also been pretty consistent. I think I've done them for 19 out of 31 days, so now a little bit over 60% this time. The thing I'm most consistent with the thing I most consistently what? So the days where I'm most consistent with that I noticed was those push/core days, or those pull/leg days. But when it comes to those Wednesdays and Saturdays where I do um twists and glute bridges, right? Or like bridges of some kind, as with the hybrid calisthenics routine. Yeah, I barely do them, and I think it's because of how I think about them. It's I kind of think of it as another stretching day, and I think of it as, I don't think very highly of those two exercises compared to push-ups, leg raises, squats and pull-ups. But I think if I really want to be more consistent with those, just regardless of what day it should just follow the same routine. And I think that's the goal for next month, is to just implement that routine where I wake up, I don't know, I read the Bible a bit, drink some water, and then just warm up, get ready to do the thing. And yeah, hopefully we'll aim for like also 80%. Screw it, I'll go for 80% consistency with exercise as well. And before I talk about my most consistent habit for the month, I want to talk about my least consistent habit, so that it sounds real negative, but then we end with a positive. You know what I'm saying? Engagement bait. Yeah. I don't actually know the YouTube meta like that. I'm just saying something. So coding, right? Um, I've only done them for 11. I've only done an hour or two of coding for 11 days. In January. So that's like, I don't know, roughly 35% of the month. And all that time, it was just really working on one of those projects that I said I was gonna do, like a habit tracker, or making a program that emulates how I track my habits with my journal. But I ended up kind of getting bored of the project, and also I just found it obsolete because I track my shit, I track my stuff, right? Don't want to get demonetized. I track my stuff, right, with pen and paper. So it's got no use.
It's no use!
And so I pivoted to doing another project that could help me a lot, which is to make a GUI program, a GUI program that basically enforces the 20-20-20 rule, which is for 20 minutes you go and look at something that's 20 feet away for 20 seconds, right? It's just another health thing, another very useful thing, potentially very useful thing to me. And yeah, I went to work on that in the month of February. But since we're talking about February as well, let's just talk about it. I managed to do it. I managed to have a working version up and running. What is it? I'm gonna say like barely 2 weeks into February, so felt pretty good about that. But otherwise, yeah, no. I haven't really coded a lot in January. I also procrastinated a lot. Knowing the pace that I did that GUI program, I probably could have finished it by the end of January, but I procrastinated because the library that I use, pretty outdated one, it's called Java Swing, um, has a lot of like, and so it was like, do I want to do this? Like, nah. But then I thought, what if I just like do a YouTube tutorial and then work on the project simultaneously? Wow, that's crazy. Who would have thought of that? Who would have thought of that? Like who? That guy must be like real smart. And so for the third and fourth week of January, there was basically no coding work done. The next topic, the next major sort of subject that I should be looking at now is Git stuff, which will be very useful. Um, as for what learning resources I've had, there are some websites, right? There are some websites. There's this game called Oh My Git that I want to try and use. But yeah, 2 weeks. The next 2 weeks, I'm gonna just work on that and cleaning up a little bit more of the GUI program that I have, and I'll see you guys I'll see you guys by the end of February, or whenever I decide to post the rest of the February program. And now, my most consistent habit of that I've done, the most consistent habit I've done all January, drawing. Yeah, yeah. This time, like I said on my own self-made curriculum, I was gonna focus on gesture. And before I go talk about what all these are, let me just talk about the fact that I've already kind of tackled gesture before, but I did it in a way that was like, I did it in the kind of reverse order. I started with 5-minute sketches because I was like, 30 seconds is too short. Let me try just work my way down from 5 minutes to 3 minutes to 2 minutes to a minute to 30 seconds, right? But I think it developed really bad habits for me, and it didn't, despite having all of that time to make the quick sketch, I just wasn't super proud of what some of them look like. Hey, let me just go quickly grab my other sketch pad.
One eternity later.
This time what I did was to look at a bunch of different teachers, right? A bunch of different websites on how do they do their own gesture drawings, because a lot of them teach the same thing, but they actually go about the process in different ways. So this was the method proposed by the line of action website, where you find the line of action and then you draw over the three most important forms in the human body, being the rib cage, the no, actually drawing, it's more like you just put a circle over. Anyway, you just put the mass in for the rib cage, the pelvis, and the head, and yeah, you build off from there. And I just didn't like that type of method. I don't know. It's just I just didn't see. I it was hard to see some of these features, even when some of the reference models were actually like ripped or some, or maybe, yeah, it might have just been a skill issue. But yeah, no, I just didn't like the method. I don't know, it just felt weird. And so I eventually moved back to looking at something like Stan Prokopenko's process, which was looking at big rhythms across the body, usually starting from the head and then down from the head to the neck, and then the shoulders, and the line to the shoulders, and then from the shoulders to the torso, and the torso to the hip, and the hip to the leg, and yeah, rhythms. See a couple more of that here, 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 somewhere here, and over here. A lot of these gesture drawings, they just overlap each other. I just could not be bothered. I just could not be bothered with the where I place them. Whatever, I just do whatever I felt like. But compared to my previous gesture drawing, I definitely feel like I can capture it a little bit better now. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done here. A lot of them still feel stiff, but it feels good, and the line quality is significantly better. So there's that. More that. Okay, what? Yeah, okay, this is end of January stuff. I kind of misplaced my pencil, so I went back to fine liner, which wasn't too bad. A couple more here, 28th and 27th. And then here, this is February. In the month of February, I started looking at more artists to copy their gesture process, and one I looked at was Mike Matese, the author of the Force Method, and the Force books, and yeah, just the teacher of the Force Method. Something different that he teaches is actually starting with the torso here. And I know some other teachers do that as well, but yeah, with Mike Matese, he argues that because the torso and the hips and the legs, right, they cover more, or they sort of embody more of the pose rather than just the head, right? Like if you start with the head, not to say that it has, just no benefits, because you can draw more proportionate forms here, but starting with the torso, you can feel the pose a bit better, because the placement of the hips and the torso can tell you a lot more about the pose than where the head is, so yeah, did more of that. And also, yeah, his he also teaches something called the leading edge, right? The I can't really teach you the force method, bro. Just look at over his stuff, man. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. He has some great analogies. I can't teach you that. Ha ha ha. Here's actually some pages that haven't fallen off the book yet. Now, because I started going from 30 seconds to longer and longer studies, I now struggle with longer studies, like 5 to 10 minutes, because I don't know how to squeeze in more detail. But we'll just have to work with that over the next few months then. Also, Drew Yuji Itadori here. The GOAT! Bro, you guys should like see him in Modulo right now. Like he's got so much aura. He's also highly apathetic, but like, I'm a JJK reader. We only care about hype aura moments. More of that. More of that here. More fine liner work here. Longer studies here. Yeah. Yeah. What were we talking about again?